Hello everybody, welcome back to the Bessemer Lake Erie and HO scale. I'm Ray Brown. Welcome to another layout update. I'm going to cover a couple things here. First thing, something that doesn't totally belong on my layout. Coming around the corner, this is a train I've been working on for a while, on and off. This is what I'm calling my early 90s era Bessemer train. This is, as I remember, trains coming down the Erie branch and into Girard. Be some SD38s with maybe an SD18 in the middle somewhere. Mostly black hoppers with a few of the Rock Island Blues mixed in, and then they always had some stuff on the bottom just for interchange at Wallace and getting dropped off at EMSCO and former Merck's Toys. So yeah, kind of fun to get this train finally together and running. It'll probably come off the layout after I shoot this video, go back in its boxes for a while. But I think once we get to really running, it'll probably do one trip across the railroad during an op session. This is just some nostalgia for me. Coal loads I do make myself. I've got a video, if you look back through my older videos, showing how I make the coal loads. They are easily magnetic removable, which is what I like about them. Did just pick up this beautiful Tangent Bicentennial car, and you can see it even has rotating wheel caps, which is just amazing. Never actually saw that car in real life, but I was able to see some pictures, thanks to Todd, that car was rolling around in that paint into the 90s. So, happy to have it on the train here. Makes a cool addition. I think this train's around 45 cars. It is the longest, heaviest train on the railroad by quite a bit. And of course, here's the stuff on the bottom for Wallace. I need to get a flat car with wheels and maybe a gondola full of scrap in there yet too. So that's my 90s era train. So let's take a look at what we just rolled through. This is crossover at Butler. This will be Calvin Yard to the right. This crossover just went in this weekend. That will allow trains to cross over and get either in or out of the way of trains entering or exiting Calvin here, or at the other end where Pullman Standard will be. It was really quite a ways between crossovers without having this here, but I think this will be the last crossover I cut in on the main line. So kind of a nice line in the sand. I think that's the last crossover done. Don't have the switch motors on it yet. I just got the over center springs in. Those over center springs work pretty good, just for holding the rails in place temporarily. My long-term plan, any switch on the main line will have a motor, so we can see the position from the dispatcher's panel eventually. If it's a switch off the main line, it'll be a manual throw, with maybe some exceptions of hard to reach spots. So, some other track work we got done. Let's go ahead and follow the 522 here. This, of course, is a proto model, TCS WOW sound. And coming through here at KO, I think I had this done last update. Not sure what that was. Maybe I didn't have it on the track quite good. But taking the lead here brings me on to the siding at Greenville. And here I started relaying track. So this first curve switch will be going into the diesel shot, or diesel area, along with the second, which is a number 6. So the diesel shop area will be all number 6 switches. The seam side is all number 8s. And the switch here is a outside 40-inch radius, inside 30-inch radius. And here we come into new track work and the engine terminal leads going up to the roundhouse. This was a little bit of work, but worth it. It runs very smooth. So this will be the arrival track or inbound track. So trains will come up to about here and overshoot because I'm not watching what I'm doing. Let's stop about there for the ash pit. Now, I will eventually, probably up in here, put in a wash stand too for engines coming in. I got some parts. I can go ahead and make that. So that's to do yet. So that's inbound track, and you can see some cinders ready to go out. And then, so this will be the outbound track, which we will start bringing the 253. Is one of my 080s. I got another 080 I'm working on. Again, another proto model, also WOW sound. But behind this, we'll have coal coming in to be delivered and sand being delivered. So this will be the sand pit. And some new cars on the layout here. These Union hoppers are new to me. Made loads for them too. And another one of the roundhouse covered hoppers I built. That empty gone's been around for a while. Okay, let's go ahead and make some deliveries here for the fun of it. Check out some of this new track work in the engine terminal. Of course, all of these switches are all done with fast tracks, and the ties I laser cut myself. And of course, here I am again making a video without an uncoupling stick again. So forgive me while we just kind of put these in delay. And looking here, that little bit of track work, that was fun. To get everything the way it needed to line up, I needed to get those points right up close to the frog. But you know, these are the things you can do when you're making your own track. You know, it's not very hard to get stuff together. Figuring out the ties, honestly, was the hardest part. Okay, let's go ahead and shove these loads of coal in up to the tipple. Could probably use some more union rolling stock on the layout. And of course, you can see everything just rolling through these switches nice and smooth. And this last switch here, that's a number 6. I figure, you know, probably not anything big. Going to be rolling back through here, making setouts and deliveries to the tipple. And we'll call that good. And probably somewhere in there we'll leave the covered hopper. And I think that's where the crane's going to live. Seems like a good spot for it. Of course, my caboose track here is still littered up with some other random stuff that eventually will find homes, but this will be my caboose row. Home to a lot of random things right now. We did just do a little bit of a run Friday night. I just had a couple of the guys that live close stop over. You know, I think if you've been watching my videos, in my first op session we ran into some power issues. Browned out the layout pretty good. You know, did seriously update my booster pack and the wiring scheme of the layout, but really hadn't really put it to the test. So had some guys stop over, and we started just running trains and just running them in circles and putting on more, and I think we got to a point we had 16 trains running. 16 trains running around the layout at once, and probably, of course, more than half of those were multi-unit lash-ups. So I think I'm good to go on power. The layout didn't even blink with that kind of amount of trains running. So, like I said, should be in pretty good shape power-wise. So I have to make a pre-video checklist when I start doing these, and making sure that I have uncoupling sticks with me. And just wanted a chance just to push some cars around here, and just, you know, if anybody's on the fence about, you know, getting into fast tracks, just seeing how smooth they work. And granted, you know, I've made a lot at this point, but you know, there was a point in time that I had never built one. You know, it was all new to me, and I think you've probably heard me say it on the channel before, but the very first one I ever built was smoother in operation than anything I'd ever bought. And you only get better. Once in a while I have a flop. You know, I put one together and for whatever reason I have to sit and fiddle with it before it's all engaged and smooth. Not very often. You know, once in a while you get one that fights you, but mostly they just go according to plan. And I mean, there's some downsides. The downside is it takes time. You know, it's a couple hours every time I build one, and you know, especially on a layout this big, that means you know, I probably could have been done with a lot of things like my smaller yards. Oh, I am not going to get that. If I would have just bought the switches, but it probably would have also bankrupt me. I build these turnouts, of course factoring in that I laser cut the ties myself, and I build these turnouts for a couple dollars a piece. Boy, I feel really bad how much I'm having to stick my hand in here. Obviously that ash conveyor is only kind of set in place. I got to build the sand pit yet. I can see the tracks came out going to my transfer table. Transfer table's about to come out. I'm going to turn it to 90 degrees. Given a lot of thought on that. And really convinced myself that's the right thing to do. Here we go. One more trip out through the switches. So work in the engine terminal will be something a local will have to take care of. Of course, there'll be diesel fuel deliveries and stuff too coming in. All right. So, yeah, the plan here, the transfer table is going to come out. I'm going to turn it. It's going to be somewhere in here-ish. And the diesel shops are going to be on that side. And the car shops and back shop will be on this side. And I'll probably have a track coming off the turntable, so the back shop you'll be able to get from the transfer table or the turntable. So that'll look like that. I think it's going to be kind of neat. Because you're going to be able to stand here and see the diesels lined up in the diesel shop. Then what I'm thinking, kind of behind the shops in this area, I'm going to have, you know, fueling racks and whatnot servicing for the diesels. Probably also be places to park some of the sets I won't want to tear apart all the time, like my ABBA F sets, which I have a couple of. But that's pretty much what's been going on in the layout. And you have a couple other things going on in the background here I'm not quite ready to show yet. But getting this rebuilt definitely was a lot of fun. Getting the 90s train together was a lot of fun. And getting that crossover in at Butler, that was a long time coming, getting that in. So, with that being said, thanks everybody for watching, and I'll see you next time.